Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
Scott Abbott is our guest today. And the first thing I want to talk about, which impressed me when I read through his bio and resume, essentially, and that's what you evaluate somebody on paper. And then we've had a little bit of chit chat before we began this interview. Scott, first, welcome to the show, the Amazing Authorities Podcast. And you certainly qualify to be here.
Well, thanks, Mitch. Glad to be here, and thanks for doing the show.
Yeah. Well, what's really cool about you is I'm going to go back to the book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, which I read years ago. And there's a principle in there which has stuck in my head, and I've lived by it. And so since that book came out, and it's so true, and I love to read his books because he's fact-based, is 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours qualifies somebody as more than just claiming to have an expertise. It's inside them. It's indoctrinated. It's part of what they do. So when someone asks you a question, you don't even have to flex. It just comes out auto magically. And you've coached 10,000 plus people.
Well, technically it's 10,000 plus hours, but I've coached thousands of people. And
well, I'm assuming each one is an hour. Yes, it is 10,000 hours.
So it's been, and I, as I said, frankly, for its worth, that might be an understatement. For 40 years, I've been doing consulting, systems integration, coaching, mostly around technology. In the last 12, 15 years, really around helping business owners and leadership teams build great companies. And so we do that in about 5-7 different type of sessions. And so if you put it all together, man, it's been a journey, a lot of sessions, and I've learned a lot of things. By the way, real quick, I don't know if you know, Gladwell's got this awesome podcast, Revisionist History. If you haven't listened to it,
I haven't. I didn't even know about it.
It's so cool.
Wow. Wow.
If you're traveling, you're on a train, you're over in Thailand, you're somewhere in a car, train, bus, and you got an hour and a half. It is one of the best podcasts in the world, and I'm a Gladwell fan. But Revisionist History, and he basically goes back in time, and he basically says, "Hey, you thought this was a situation, but let me tell you what really happened." So it's cool.
Well, and he's a thorough journalist, which I respect because my undergrad is in journalism.
He likes data. He likes, that's why I like him a lot too, right? We love emotions and opinions and feelings, but we love systems and structure, engineering, mechanics. When you put those together, magic happens.
Yeah, I like data. Reliable, provable, irrefutable data. And he brought that up. I mean, so when I said 10,000 clients, no, you've got more than 10,000 hours, which is the principle he refers to in Outliers. Because if you're working 7 sessions with a client, and that's one of 10,000, my gosh. So you truly do have the justifiable platform of being an expert in the coaching industry or coaching clients and CEOs and companies. And when did you decide this was for you?
Yeah. So, I joked that I'm a recovering entrepreneur, and once you are labeled one, you're one forever. So back in the 90s, exactly 1995, after Al Gore invented the internet, insert laugh track here, me and my buddies at IBM kind of brought the internet into business through what we called e-business, and it's now basically the way everybody does it. So that was my first company, started at 26 in my basement, a few $100 in my pocket, saw something, did it. And since that time, I've made a few mistakes. In that company, we actually ended up raising about 15 million total venture capital, friends and family, other debt, screwed up a little bit, got caught up in that whole dot-com boom bust crash.
Right.
Then actually I got picked up by a big company, a $32 billion company, one of the biggest in the tech space. And that taught me a lot. I became an intrapreneur. And then after that, I did a couple other companies, both as a founder and investor. And about 12 years ago, Mitch, I said, all right, I'm good. And so I thought I could go into early retirement. And that was a silly thought. And
so boring. I did that too, Scott. It was overrated, and I got bored out of my brains.
Yeah. My dad did it earlier, and he kind of looked back and said, "I wish I didn't do it so soon." So So I said, hey, I don't want to run companies, but I love living vicariously through the other founders. I want to be of service. I want to help. I'm a humanitarian capitalist. So while I want to help, I like making money. So I got into coaching business owners, leadership teams, mostly in startup, small, mid-sized companies. And I did it through, I cobbled together some frameworks and some templates. And to your point about authors and books, leveraged some of the best thought leaders in the world. And I started my first company that did this called Straticos. And then fast forward about 8 years later, I was lonely again. And I said, hey, I want more people to work with me and do what I do. So I created Boss Up about 3.5 years ago. And fast forward to now, we've got about 75 coaches around the world. We've got a coaching solution academy. The academy is an online portal that's a learning management system. So we provide materials, resources, support to help independent coaches and consultants implement the Boss Up solution, which is a blend of methodology and programs and software. And most recently, I wrote a couple of books that go with it. Boss Up, which is around the strategy, mechanics, and engineering. And then the book I just came out with, which is Boss Up Moments, which is really around helping humans be better humans, right? So think about like a home. The house is what you live in, but we need the humans. And so that's kind of the whole concept here is we put it together, it's packaged, and so I decided, hey, let's give back, let's do good, and let's again help others build great companies and live good lives. That's what we're doing.
Well, let me go back a second. You are do you sell a franchise opportunity? Are they members with the 75 coaches around the world? Give me that model, because I've talked to a lot of people in the coaching space, and tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah,
so I might have people to refer to you.
Well, so I was in that space. I won't mention names, but some of them may have an acronym, and another one may have a scaling up type vibe. And so I respect all of those franchise type models that have been around. But again, I wanted something that was more modern, inclusive, flexible, accessible, and affordable. So you hit the nail on the head. We are a service ourselves. So it's a membership, it's a community, and basically people subscribe to our resources, materials, our programs, our academy, right? It's kind of, think about like it's a school academy with great assets and resources. It's not a franchise, quite the opposite. It's a membership model month by month.
Okay.
And so people like it because I always joke, it's like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer show when Kirby and Rudolph ran away, and then they decided that they liked each other and they wanted to be independent together. And so, again, nothing against franchise models per se, but I like the concept of let's be independent together for my coaches, as well as that's kind of the mindset our coaches have with their clients, right? They're not employees. They're not there to be a vendor. They're not there to be stuck in there. They're there to help, do what needs done, and then move on and let them, take it from there.
Are they coaches or consultants? Because those two terms get a little bit confused.
Yeah, so I let our coaches call themselves whatever they want. They want to be an ally, a coach, a consultant, a teacher, facilitator, what have you, right? So we use the word coach just because you kind of got to settle on some terminology and keep it simple.
Right.
But yeah, I'd say that we've got coaches who are truly into performance executive business coaching. We've got consultants who work, let's say, in the automotive industry, or they got vertical specialization in insurance, or you follow me? And then we've got people that are really more about performance and leadership, and they just love to teach, and they want to nurture and mentor and help. And so they come into our group and they decide what they want, what they don't, how do they participate? You follow me? It's about them. And so we've got various types of personas and personalities and styles and aspirations. But at the end of the day, I hope everybody feels like they're getting impact and they're helping to make some income for themselves and obviously for their clients.
That's fantastic. Now, you've written a couple books. I've written quite a few myself, so I understand the value, but I want to hear it from you. Why did you write a book? Now, the second book. What has that done for you?
Yeah, so I've written 4 books now. First book I wrote was to help young adults with career-centric life skills. That was called Level Up. And that really was a labor of love. I screwed up a lot in my early 20s. I did some things I regret, I don't like. Frankly, if it wasn't for good people in my life, I may not be in this earth. So that was kind of my pay it forward and pay it back, if you will.
Got
The
it.
next book, real fun story. You can go Google this and check it out. But IBM hired me to write a book called The Co-Factor. And I did a 28 city tour, 18 months, to help them put a software that they had in the world called Connections. And that was a blast. It took me about 2 years of my life. And that was the Co-Factor to basically introduce this concept of systems of engagement versus systems of record. And then when I started Boss Up, we had great programs, great materials, great community, great portal. But I just felt we needed a book. So this is kind of my trying to be Jim Collins, Drucker, Deming, Wickman.
Can you hold it? I want to be able to give it so it's called Boss Up. Okay, there it is. Nice. Okay.
Boss Up, right? And it's the solution to build, run, and scale great companies leveraging business operating systems, AI, and coaching. Okay. And it's not just because you bring in a coach, you think like a coach, right? You help yourself learn how to get out of your own way and look at your reflection in the mirror and mentor yourself and get to be a better version. You follow me? So I consider this, think about a good home, right? This is the framework, this is the foundation, this is the bricks, the mortar. And then we have these things called humans. And so I wrote Boss Up Moments, which is really more around EQ, how people think, they feel, how they're dealing with conflict, how they're bringing courage, how they set boundaries, how they overcome, the things that ultimately us humans get in the way before we actually successfully accomplish and make things happen, right? James Clear is known as saying, you don't rise to your level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits.
Oh, I love that decision. That was a great book.
And so what we did is we made it very visual. We have QR codes to videos. So there's every one of these has got a video. We've got AI and prompts. And so it's modern, it's fun. It's a good time, actually. And it's not just for business, it's for work and life. You can have it in the boardroom or the kitchen table. It's in a backpack or a briefcase. So it's really transferable, and it's irrespective of age, business size. So any human this is for, while the other book really is for business owners and leaders who are building, running.
Sure. Well, let me go back to the one you just held up. Can you hold that up for a second? Because you're really okay. The one
I always feel a little bit like a magician or Vanna White.
Yeah, well, you're Vanna White in a male body. But all right, so the Boss Up book with your left hand. Okay, that one. Is because I want to buy it. Is it available via ebook or Kindle store?
Both have Kindle.
Okay, good.
Both have Kindle. Both have paperback. I don't do audio because, I do a lot of teaching. I work a lot of schools. I'm into kind of the biomechanics of how people learn. And it's been proven that when you hold, write, and read and feel, your propensity to learn and implement and leverage and benefit goes up about 22%. So there's a lot of podcasts and great audiobooks, but I was pretty intentional and you can see all the books are very visual. They're fun.
I love that. Yeah, that's quality. You put some time into that because I know what.
Well, that's why, it's a lot of really cool days. So they're not $35 and 22. Trust me, you know this. We don't make money on books. It's almost
it's what they do.
Philanthropic endeavor, if we're being honest to the world, right?
I use the book as your core hub of your business, and everything builds from there. It's the hub, and all the tentacles come out of that, and it's the positioning of you being the claimed expert. I'm guessing, and I don't know you that well. My guess is many of your coaches came to you because you own the niche. You are the published expert. You've claimed it. You put your stake in the ground and said expert because I wrote the book on it.
Not only that, Mitch, I don't know where the paper is, my basement office. Mm-hmm. After a year and a half of application, guess what happened yesterday? The United States government told me that I now officially own the trademark of Boss Up.
Oh,
anything about congratulations. Trade, it take about a year and a half. Thank you. So there's people out there that use Boss and other things, and you watch out, everybody. You better behave, otherwise I'm coming after you.
So where are most of your coaches?
What's that?
Where are most of your coaches?
We've got a couple of guys over in the UK. We've got people coming into South America, mostly the United States. We've got a guys up in Canada, but we're ready to expand. I actually only started bringing on coaches about 15 months ago, and we're already up to 75. Believe it or not, we've got academia at the University of Indiana University, Kelley School of Business, one of the best. They've actually got 10 of their faculty in our academy. We have members from the Chamber of Commerce in our academy. We've got Cummins Engine with the big auto engine guys. So a lot of people use this, is my point, not just to leverage our materials to coach and to teach and to put things in, but just to be better in terms of their confidence and awareness and insights. You follow me? I mean, you've been very nice to use the word expert. I kind of prefer specialist because I'm always trying to be an expert. I don't know if we'll ever get there, right? It's like growth. You'll never fully get there. But no doubt we've got a specialization. Our focus is to help individuals and the organizations boss up. And that's this blend of good systems tailored to them using both, classic curriculum-based learning and software, leveraging AI in a practical, intelligent way, and coaching, not just to work with a coach, but to think like a coach and to become a coach on behalf of themselves and their employees.
Do you assist them with marketing their skill sets? So I certain your coaching isn't specific to software. You mentioned somebody that might be in the automotive, somebody might be in the plumbing trade, and they're coaching plumbers, butt crack Joe, the plumber. And do you help them with the marketing so they get themselves out there for that niche? I'm asking because I'm trying to refer people to you, and I'm thinking, okay, if that's a solution, everybody frets on leads. Everybody wants more leads.
So we don't. I tried back in the day. I spent quite a bit of money on it. So we don't claim or guarantee or say, hey, we're going to build your funnel, or we're going to put leads out there. But everything outside of that, Mitch, we've got templates and frameworks. You basically, it's like, I believe becoming a coach like us is like making a Thanksgiving dinner, but doing it like Kraft macaroni and cheese in the microwave. It's an instant shot in the arm of the materials, the resources, how to brand, how to position, how to talk. We help with webinars and seminars. So it's a comprehensive. I spent, several $100,000 and many years putting this together. So instead of you and them having to do the same thing, you're going to go to bossup.academy, which is our website. If you like what you see, you connect with us. We'll show you what's going on behind the paywall. And if you like that, you join. And if it works, great. Stick around and be of service. If it doesn't, then move on. And, we call it a day.
What's the spelling? Because I thought it was a little bit different.
BOS-UP.coach. That's where you want to go, and you'll check out our site, and then from there you can click on the academy. That's probably the best way. And the academy is where all of our coaches hang out. That's kind of like our school, right? And the other part of the site basically informs the world what Boss Up is, what the solution's about. What you follow me?
So they don't have to do that. The coaches can then refer to that, and then good. So it's all there under one.
Yeah, but most of our coaches, what's kind of cool is, a third of our coaches are pretty public that they're with Boss Up and they're one of our certified. A third don't tell anybody. It's basically it's underneath the floorboards. It's kind of their secret sauce that people don't even know it. And honestly, a third of people don't do revenue generating coaching or consulting. They just love our materials. They're part of our community. They feel like this is going to a continuous night school. They tuck it into their other materials or resources that they do. So that's kind of fun. I go back to, we've got people in here who, very candidly, I don't know exactly what they do from a monetization strategy, but I know they're not out there actively doing billable type coaching and consulting. They just are leveraging the resources, the experience, the community, the assets, and if that's good for them, it's good for me.
I want to ask, final topic, because it's important, and I largely work with the guests that are on the show, most of whom are CEOs and authors. What did you do? What did you learn from book one to the most recent book in terms of getting it out there? How important is the marketing?
A couple of things. My first book, I self-published because one of the first self-publishing companies, a friend of mine started it. He raised outside venture capital, and they were headquartered down in Bloomington, which is where the Indiana University is.
Yeah.
I think my first book could have been taken up, but I said, hey, I love the concept of ownership, of self-management. I wanted to learn about it. So I put a lot of time, effort, and energy when I came out to Level Up 15 years ago. And I like, even a lot of my websites, I still have on my servers, right? My first company was a web development company. Once upon a time, believe it or not, I had 150 web developers, 100-something programmers. And now, especially with AI, there's a lot of things I enjoy and do by myself.
Sure.
So I like that for a host of reasons: self-discipline, control, ownership, timeliness. So I learned that. And now as I progress, to your point about marketing and representation, and I I said earlier, right? It's funny, and this is a true story. I've got them around here. I had somebody over the other night having a drink, and I showed him my $75 check from Amazon for royalties. He's like, you suck. That's nothing. I go, you got to be kidding me, man. I only make like 23 cents a book on my one book. It's a true story, right? I was like, so that's actually about 75 books right there. So I try to make a point that unless you're one of the real famous people and you got a big deal, right? And that's why I'm like, hey, then if that's the case, you be in charge. Learn about it. Study what you can do in terms of promotion and marketing and getting it out there, how it's part of your brand and how it represents what you want, where you're going. So that's my biggest point. I enjoyed the journey. I enjoyed learning about the industry. I enjoyed, I'm a bit of a scientist meets engineer meets artist. I enjoyed the science and the artistry of how to have a book and what to do with it. And I think if that's your thing, do it. If it's not, if you just think you're going to write a book and you're going to become famous and it goes out in the world and people buy it, good luck. That doesn't happen. It could, but that's like hitting the lottery or even a blind squirrel finds an acorn.
Will, the interesting aspect, the reason I bring that up, your content looks terrific. I don't know how well you've marketed and done all that because I'd have to go and check the data. But the best marketed book had 0 content, if you can recall that. It was a New York Times best-selling book. I think it was in the early 80s. And a woman wrote this book, What Men Know About Women. And inside was blank pages. It had the had the copyright page. And
Mitch, I've never heard this before, but I love it.
Yeah. Oh, it was so true. She was on Carson, Johnny Carson show. And then she ended up on Oprah with this, and it had 0 content. It was a New York Times best-selling book. And it was pure marketing. There was no content. You have beautiful content. I could see that. You put time into the graphics, all of that. I'm sure it's going to be a great book. I'm going to read it, and then I'll give you a review. That's a future promise. I'll do that. Okay, I'll keep my word because I'm a reader, former journalist. So when I saw that book, I said, it has 0 to do with the content. In this particular case, it was pure marketing. Mark Twain said 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. She perspired with the marketing because she certainly put no time into the content other than the beautiful thought. I thought, brilliant. Yeah. Now, I don't think she got invited to speak at events on her content because there wasn't any. But
that'd be silence wins. Yeah.
Conversely,
it's like the Pet Rock. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Pet Rock is another one. Yeah. Well, maybe we're close in age, but I'm speaking at a summit in 3 weeks with John Gray. I don't know if you remember him. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And he was pure content. He was married to a woman that I think Barbara DeAngelis, I think was his wife. Yeah, they're both well-known people during that time. But man, you've been a great guest. Love the energy, love the books and the content. I know who to refer to for coaching. And so you cover a few topics. People who just want great information to learn. Those are some of the people. Others who do want to turn it into a business. And third, maybe just wanting to be part of a community and learn about what's going on with humans and or business. That's great feat. I applaud you for your contribution today. And I'm sure people learned a lot as I did. And I love the fact that you shared Malcolm Gladwell's podcast with me because I'm going to be eager to start listening to him because I think he's brilliant. I've read all of his books.
I agree. It's good fun. You'll like
Scott,
it. And
thank you so much for your time. One more time, where can people,
what you're doing?
One more time, where can people get you?
So for me personally, I'm out there in the world at Scott Abbott ABC, Instagram, X, LinkedIn. My books are on Amazon, Boss Up Moments. And then we've got my personal website, scottabottabc.com. And then we just came out the new program, Lead with Scott, which is really around learning and development. And it's got this fun little package to it. So that's where I'm out in the world, Mitch.
Scott, you've been a great guest. Thank you so much for your time today.
Likewise. Thanks for hosting me.
Thanks for tuning in to the Amazing Authorities Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to mitchcarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.